Have you ever felt like your heart was quietly breaking, but no one noticed? You go through the motions of the day, you smile when people expect you to smile, you reply with, "I'm okay," because you don't even know how to explain what's really going on inside. But deep down, you feel hollow, you feel tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. You feel like the world is moving on, and you're just standing still, trying to catch your breath. Maybe you felt invisible in a crowd. Maybe you've cried silently into your pillow, hoping no one hears. Or maybe you've stopped crying altogether, because even your tears feel tired now. And you wonder, where is Allah in all this? Why does He feel so far when you need Him the most? If that's something your heart whispers in the quiet, then this message is for you, because you are not weak, you are not broken, and you are certainly not forgotten. In fact, what if I told you that these feelings you're struggling with aren't signs of distance from Allah? They might actually be signs that He's closer to you than ever. You see, we've come to believe that being close to Allah means being constantly happy, strong, and unshaken. But that's not what faith always looks like. Even the prophets felt deep sadness. Even the most righteous felt fear, worry, and loneliness. There was a moment in the life of Prophet Jacob when he lost his beloved son, and in his grief he said, "I only complain of my sorrow and my sadness to Allah." He didn't hide his pain, he took it to the one who understands it completely. That's what you're allowed to do. That's what your heart is being called to do. Because sometimes the emotions we're most ashamed of, the ones we bury and try to silence, are actually the heart's way of reaching for Allah. When you cry alone in the dark, when you whisper a dua with trembling lips, when you feel like no one understands you, Allah does. He sees every tear, He hears every breath, and even when you can't find the words, He already knows what your heart is trying to say. The pain you're carrying, it's not a punishment, it's a sign. It means your heart is alive. It means your soul is reaching out. And it may be that this very moment of hardship is the moment that Allah is drawing you closer to Him. So don't push these emotions away. Don't be ashamed of feeling too much. These emotions might be the very signs that Allah is near, gently, quietly, beautifully, closer than you've ever imagined. That deep sadness you're carrying, it could be a doorway to healing. That fear that keeps you up at night might be the reason you finally fall into sincere trust. That silence in your dua might be the loudest cry of your heart, and Allah responds, always. So stay with me. This isn't just a reminder, it's a lifeline. Over the next few moments, I'll walk you through 7 powerful emotions that so many of us feel. Emotions that don't mean you're failing in faith. They may actually be signs of divine closeness. Together, we'll unpack these feelings. We'll explore why they hurt and how they can lead us not into despair, but into peace. This is not a lecture. This is a journey, a quiet one, a healing one. And if your heart is tired, if your soul has been whispering for a sign, this might be it.
You are not walking alone. Allah is near, and every emotion you're feeling might be His way of calling you back to Him. Let's walk through this together. There's something that many of us silently carry, a question we're often too afraid to ask out loud. If I'm trying so hard to be close to Allah, then why do I feel so distant from Him? You pray, you make dua, you try to be a better person, but still the pain lingers. The anxiety doesn't stop. The heartbreak doesn't heal. And after a while, you start to wonder, is this a sign that my faith is weak, that Allah is displeased with me? But that couldn't be further from the truth. Emotional struggle is not spiritual failure. It's human, it's real, and it can even be sacred. We often think that strong faith means being calm all the time, that trusting Allah means never crying, that true belief means always having clarity, confidence, and peace. But when you open the stories of the prophets, when you look at the lives of the most beloved souls to Allah, you'll find tears. You'll find moments of deep sadness. You'll find silent prayers in the middle of the night, not for more blessings, but just for strength to keep going. Even the most righteous hearts have broken. Even they asked, when will relief come? What does that tell you? It tells you that emotion, raw, painful, overwhelming emotion, is not a sign of weakness. It can be a sign of being fully alive, fully present, and fully turned toward the one who created your heart in the first place. That feeling you carry, that ache, that worry, that emptiness, it may not be a wall between you and Allah. It may actually be the bridge that brings you closer to Him. Because here's something many people don't realize. Some of the most powerful spiritual moments don't come in happiness. They come in brokenness. They come when your voice shakes in dua, when your heart feels heavy, but you still choose to believe, when your soul feels tired, but you still whisper His name. These are not signs of distance. They're signs of longing. They're signs of trust. They are signs that your heart is still reaching for Allah, even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. You see, emotions aren't the enemy. They're the language of the soul. And when you feel deeply, when you feel sadness, fear, confusion, guilt, or even numbness, those emotions are calling you to pause, to reflect, to reconnect. They are not here to destroy you. They're here to remind you you are not alone in your pain. So many of us carry quiet battles. We put on smiles and carry responsibilities. We show up every day even when our hearts are heavy. And in all of that, we forget Allah sees what others don't. He knows what the world overlooks. He knows the nights you've cried. He knows the effort you've made. He knows how hard it is to keep believing when nothing makes sense. And He is near.
The Qur'an tells us clearly, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Not after hardship, with it. Meaning while you are in pain, ease is already surrounding you. While you're crying, healing is already unfolding. While you're feeling distant, mercy is already close. That's the message we need to remember. Your emotions are not problems to be fixed. They are signs to be honored. They are spiritual invitations calling you back to your Lord. So in this video, we're going to look at 7 specific emotions. 7 feelings that many of us struggle with quietly, believing they make us less faithful, less strong, less worthy. But what if these emotions are actually gifts? What if feeling deeply is a sign that Allah is softening your heart? What if sadness is preparing you for peace? What if silence is drawing you into remembrance? We'll explore that gently, honestly, and together. Each emotion we talk about will come with comfort, with perspective, with a reminder that even in your lowest moments, Allah is never far. He's closer to you than you realize. And these emotions, they might be the very signs your heart has been waiting for. Now that we understand emotions aren't something to be ashamed of, but signs that Allah may be closer than we think, let's walk through 7 specific emotions many of us feel and explore how they can actually bring us nearer to Allah. These are not random feelings. They are powerful spiritual invitations calling you back to peace,
back to healing, and back to your Creator. Let's begin with the first one. You're in your room, alone. Everyone's asleep, and for some reason, your heart just can't hold it in anymore. The tears come, and no one sees them. No one hears your pain, but Allah does. These moments, these tears, are not wasted. They are the purest conversations between you and the one who knows your heart better than you do. Prophet Muhammad once said, "There are two eyes that the fire will never touch. One that cries out of fear and love for Allah." That means every tear shed in honesty counts. Even when you don't say a word, Allah hears what the soul is saying. So let them fall. Don't wipe them away in shame. Each tear carries your pain and your healing. There's a kind of emptiness that comes after doing something you regret. You feel distant, dirty, unworthy. You wonder if Allah will ever forgive you. But that guilt, that discomfort, that's not rejection. That's your heart trying to return. It's a wake-up call, not a wall. It means your soul hasn't died. It still knows right from wrong. Allah says, "O my servants who have wronged themselves, never despair of my mercy." He didn't say, "Only the good ones," or "Only those who never mess up." He said, "All my servants." So if you're feeling empty after falling, know that this is the moment to turn back. Say a sincere dua. Ask for forgiveness and know that Allah is not tired of you, even if you are tired of yourself. There are days when the sadness just feels too heavy. You don't want to get out of bed.
Sometimes it's not sadness. It's the absence of feeling altogether. You feel disconnected from people, from prayer, from life. You sit in prayer and nothing stirs inside. You make dua and it feels empty. That numbness is one of the hardest states because you don't even know how to begin healing. But here's the thing, silence is not absence and numbness is not failure. Even when you feel nothing, if you still turn to Allah, even with an empty heart, it still counts. Allah sees the effort when you pray with dry eyes. He counts the dua you whisper, even when you don't feel anything inside. Your faith is not measured by how emotional you feel. It's measured by your effort, even in the quiet. You see someone else's life, their success, their marriage, their children, their ease, and a small part of you feels bitter, sad, left behind. Then you feel guilty for even feeling that way. But here's the truth. Feeling jealousy doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you human. What matters is what you do with that feeling. Instead of sitting in comparison, turn it into dua. Instead of resenting someone, say, "Ya Allah, grant me peace in what you've written for me and bless them too." And remind yourself, what's written for you is coming, and what you see online or around you is never the full story. You're doing everything right, but the future still scares you. What if I never get married? What if I fail again? What if nothing ever changes? This fear isn't a lack of faith. It's a sign that you care, that you're aware. But here's the comfort. The future is not in your hands. It never was. It belongs to the one who has always taken care of you. Allah says, "And whoever trusts in Allah, He is enough for them." So take one day at a time. Make your plans, but hold them loosely. Trust that what missed you was never meant for you, and what's meant for you is already written. After days of anxiety, stress, and chaos, there's a moment where you just feel calm. Not because things got better, but
because something inside you let go. That calm, that unexpected peace is a sign. It's not random. It's not coincidence. It's mercy. It's Allah giving your heart a break, a breath, a moment to recharge. Cherish it. Even if it's brief, even if it only lasts a few hours. It's a reminder that healing is possible, that Allah hasn't forgotten you, that your heart still knows how to breathe. These 7 emotions